whatsoever. Instead, we can just talk about, regardless of that, is it good or bad to reject democratic rules? Is it good or bad to threaten the media based on my principles, which value the free press and media?
So Trump has repeatedly called for investigations into reporters, into media outlets. He believes that the business licenses like ABC and CBS, MSNBC, he says, should be pulled. I mean, you don't see these sorts of threats from the Democratic Party.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Maybe
Has Trump pulled anybody's license ever as president? Has he actually sent any government officials to do any investigations of any major?
So you agree, though, stop him saying...
Oh yes, this is the most. Oh yeah, I love this fucking play. He was so mad when that kill, he just hunted me down after that. Once he came back, he went straight for me. And you see here where your accessories are, if you click on them, look at where it's locked, right? Right on the bottom, where yellow, it'll tell you how to get it. It'll tell you where you gotta go and what you gotta do. All these, most of the ones that I'm looking for are, you have to follow these rules, right? But some of them you can also get from buying certain vendors. There's two builds here, but I'm gonna show them the actual most impressive build I've seen so far. Just this one right here. Now this guy, yeah, I did put my camp outside his house. I should know. Look at this. Look at this beautiful place. Oh my god. What a work of engineering. The absolute. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, my highlight was when I didn't die. Oh, when I sniped. Ah, nice. Yes. It was when I sniped the Scarlet Witch after I blocked her special. I blocked hers.
Watch out, mister. Here comes the twister. Yeah,
Slide on the pimp gang with my pinky ring. Lot of gang, lot of pictures in the ice and chain.
Yeah. This is how I feel. This meme, this fucking cringy, old, 3,000-year-old meme. I feel like this is how I feel, and the rest of this fucking country feels right now. Who has any type of people in this country who actually are the polar opposite of what this meme entails, right? But goddamn, the rapid changes and fluctuations and what's been going on the last like week or so has been nuts. It's been absolutely crazy, and honestly, it's been really hard to keep up with. We got things going up, down, turnarounds, especially when it comes to the tariffs. Nowhere in sight does it seem to be any kind of clear path or expectation of what is to come in the future any longer. It's only pure speculation, and as well as one random thing a day, right? Which is very frustrating. I want to vent about Al Green and what's been going on, right, with the Democratic Party, and to be quite honest with you, I have been pretty livid, pretty fucking livid, especially after seeing their inaction, their cowardice in the face of Trump, in the face of the MAGA party. You know, even if you agree or disagree with them, we could all come to the conclusion and agreement that the Democrats looked like punk-ass bitches in the State of the Union address, right? And only one of them decided to do anything that would resemble a protest or speaking out or, you know, something worth a damn when it comes to what the Democrats had written on their back, which is resistance. very frustrated. Very frustrated. And honestly, I was going to go into this stream guns blazing, fucking spitting hot fire. I'm just fucking tired. I have spent the last couple days harassing, I want to say, quite literally, the 10 Democrats who decided that it would be a smart idea to vote against Al Green. And we all know what really went down. This is not them just coming across what they think is a good idea, right? It's not that simple. It's not that simple. These 10 Democrats seem to have a lot to gain from the MAGA party and Trump being a president, right? They got a lot of corporate interests and a lot of weird investments and a lot of close relationships with people that would arguably paint them as someone who is secretly a closet Republican, right? A turncoat Democrat, if you would say. And all 10 of these Democrats right now, if you call them, which I encourage you all to do, I have their numbers here. I've posted it into my Discord. So if you are following me in there, you'll be able to see I made a whole new section for political information in regards to just activism and whatnot. So if you want to check that out, it's all in there. But 10 Democrats who decided to vote against Al Green are Amy Barra, Ed Case, Jim Costa, Laura Gillen, James A. Himes, Chrissy Houlihan, Marcy Kaptur, Jared Moskowitz, Mary Glusenkamp, and Thomas Swizzy. I don't know if I'm saying some of their last names correctly.
Victory
but I will say,
screech!
Chrissy Houlihan is the only one who had a public report and announcements for what had happened and their response. What's going on, Johnny? Welcome, welcome. Victory screech. This is not a victory at all. There's no victory here, unfortunately speaking. But this is a victory for Trump, yeah, I guess, for Putin, you know. Al Green, censored by 10 Democrats, and one of them, Chrissy Houlihan, decided to say something about why she came to this decision, and her decision was horseshit. Horseshit, right? She is saying she doesn't want to engage with tit for tat and that there's more important things to do. What the fuck else is there you could possibly be doing right now that's more important than what's happening in this country? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Your job is at risk here, right? Your fucking future career is at risk here as a politician. What the fuck are you saying? Like, Trump is sitting there, the entire party was sitting there and laughing at the Democrats. All of them are laughing at Democrats. They're throwing shit at them, they're calling y'all names, they're just basically slapping y'all in the face. Didn't do anything except wave these signs around and go on to Twitter, literally go on to Twitter while it's all happening and fucking tweet mean messages about Trump and these people as if the American people would even fucking notice and see that. You know, like, it's the first time in a long time that both parties have the entire eyes of America all in the same room, right? That would have been a good time to show some leadership, to show some pushback, to show quite literally fucking anything else rather than just wearing clown costumes and fucking waving fucking signs. It was disgusting. And to hear her excuse for not doing anything at all, obviously made me annoyed enough to give her some phone calls. And I will say, out of all 10 of these Democrats that I called, there only 2 of them picked up, and of course it was the secretaries. And only one of them actually had the audacity to defend their boss, I guess, which was a horrible defense, telling me that, oh, it's of the opinion of him that he wanted to keep it calm and orderly, the dumb bitch fuck. I said, listen, I don't give a fuck what the opinion is of this asshole. He needs to have the opinion of the people who voted for him. He's the representative. That's his fucking job. So represent the United States, represent the Democrats, represent the people who voted for you, and do something about this shit. Like, why you guys are just sit there in the cuck chair and just take the fucking nonsense? Come on. Come on. For 3-4 hours, y'all just sat there waving signs? You know the Republicans can't read. You know these MAGA motherfuckers can't fucking read. You think they're gonna pay attention to that shit? They're gonna just meme the shit out of y'all, which they did. They just meme the shit out. They replace the text on the signs with like some random bullshit. Just embarrass them. I'm just sick and tired of it. Like, I never really was that supportive of the Democratic Party anyway, but unfortunately, there really only is two parties right now, and only one of them at the moment closely resembles what I would like for this country. Not even that close, just more close than what the other guy is, which is like eons apart. Which is actually eons apart. It's nuts. Like, the Dems aren't even, I would say they're probably like reflective of 75% to 80% of my ideals, right, for this country, right? No, that's me being very charitable, right? The right, MAGA, the opposite, the other option, not even fucking close. It's probably in the negatives, like negative 1,000%, like completely does not represent anything in terms of the ideals and beliefs that I hold, and I feel like the founding fathers fucking held for this country at this point. So, you know, obviously the choice to me is clear for who I would pick, but Jesus fucking Christ, I wish that the choice that I have to pick would do better, would do something, anything, literally anything. Fucking, like, I want to see, we should have been talking about how the Democrats did some crazy thing to resist, instead of talking about how Trump used these families as like trophies, political trophies, in order to score some points, like with the kid who had cancer and storing him in the Secret Service. Like, that's sweet and all, but Jesus Christ, we know why he's fucking doing this. He doesn't care about that kid. Like, let's be real, those politicians don't give a fuck about what the hell they're doing right there. They just know it's going to score some sympathy points, and their constituents would eat it up. They'll use it as more cannon fodder or ammunition, in order to fuck up the left, right? It's easy dunk points, I guess, or whatever you want to say. They're scoring easy points on us. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It makes me feel like that Wojak. I know so many people must feel the same way. They must feel the same way. It's insane. It's not tech difficulties. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. My conspiracy brain was itching. It's crazy you say that. I honestly felt like for a little bit, you know, because of those AI, was it troll bots that are on YouTube that were jumping in before with the accounts that were made like yesterday. I thought that they were like DDoSing me or some shit, you know? And it's nuts that in this world you gotta be afraid, especially for anyone who makes content in general that just doesn't support Trump, that you gotta be worried about like whether or not some psychopath is just gonna put you in their crosshairs, some fucking crazy fuck who just absolutely loves the taste of Trump's dick in their mouth. They're just gonna come and DDoS the shit out of me and hack me and just send bombs or some shit. But you know what? I'm not gonna let that deter me from speaking truth. Alright? I fucking love this country. And I got the mentality and the energy and the willingness to go the extra mile if I need to in order to preserve this union. I'm so sick and tired of seeing such an ineffective left-wing party and seeing such a maniacal, batshit, deranged, fucking lunatic, evil, fucking corrupt party on the right, right? And because the left wing is so ineffective, bitch, like, they might as well just be a reflection of the one on the right at this point, because they're just allowing this stuff to happen all the fucking time. It's disgusting how often they allow this to happen. Like, I don't get why AOC is out here, like, she's not even at the State of the Union, right? She's She's tweeting mean tweets while she's live streaming, talking shit about the left, right? And the other people on the same fucking party, just driving a bigger fucking wedge in the Democratic Party, which you don't need right now, right? Why is it that they're doing that, then CNN's out here giving like softball interviews to anybody that comes in that's on the right, but then fucking grilling the shit out of anybody that's on the left over the most inefficient or unimportant things in the world, right? I just don't understand why we are not organizing. Why are we still bickering over dumb shit? I will take a dab because I need one. Thank you. I told myself I was not going to get mad. It's too late. I was already mad. I will not deny that this shit triggers me. It's not me, I promise. I'm not, but I know, I trust you, man. You got I know your flesh and blood. As long as they don't get you one day and replace your ass, right? As long as they don't do that shit. Listen, if you're wondering why there's no music playing right now, and it does feel a little weird to me, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm usually used to music, but if you're wondering why there ain't no music being played, it's because, audio reasons. Especially when it comes to YouTube, when I post this shit, I realize it's really hard to hear me. It's really hard to figure out the balance. It's also really hard to make sure that my voice doesn't sound like it's blown out being thrown down the paper shredder and shit. So if you don't like it and you rather have it on, just let me know. I definitely will throw it on again, right? But as a matter of fact, I think next time that I'm on here, I'm going to have my other headphones nearby so I could listen in with one ear and just be chilling like a motherfucking villain. Alright, listen. I called AOC. I called all these motherfuckers. I probably called like 25 representatives at some point. And every single one of them is not picking up. I'm just gonna give you a fair warning right now. If you decide to call them, they're not gonna pick up. Just be ready to leave a voicemail. It'll be very rare that they do. But a lot of them are already putting up some fucking warning, or not even a warning, but they're just telling you as soon as you call, we're experiencing a higher number of callers more than usual, blah, 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 blah. And you know it's because they're getting their asses grilled right now. And I know they're getting their asses grilled right now. I see it on Twitter, I see it on Instagram, I see it on all the social media. Like all their shit that they usually be posting is getting grilled in the comment section about how they fucking turned their back on the party. And how they turned their back on JD Vamp. Oh yeah. I'm glad that you prefer that. Cheers, dude. Thank you for reminding me. I'm also glad that you prefer to just be able to hear me. It's just that I got so used to it now that I could hear like my own voice more. And it sounds crazy. I'm just kidding. Cheers to you, man, with this dab. Before I move on from this section though, this topic, I need to make one clippable moment that I could throw up and push for some action and support, right? Let's try this. You okay? Oh, it's my girlfriend. Just want to make sure she's alright. Alright, guys. You guys tired of the Democrats doing absolutely fucking nothing? Are you tired of them sitting around thinking that waving signs and wearing colored clown costumes is enough to get the American people out of their asses and to actually fight, protest, and do something about MAGA? Are you tired of them just smiling around, tweeting while Donald Trump shits on them and just completely embarrasses them in front of the entire nation and they don't do anything about it? Well, I have a solution for you. These are the 10 Democrats who decided to vote against Al Green and censor him. It's Al Green, let's all admit it. He's the only guy there last night who decided to do anything about Trump and actually protest. So I ask y'all to give these people a call and let them know that they're traitors to this fucking country and that they're going to get primaried and that they're probably going to get voted out, to do something about this country if they at all love this union, if they at all love this democracy, if they at all they don't want to be killed in terms of their political career, right? Just in terms of political career. I'm not talking about real life. I'm just talking about real life. I know, it wasn't actual about. Just please, for the love of God, we need to do something ourselves as citizens, because our Democratic Party is not willing to do shit. I appreciate y'all and your action. All right. How you feel about BlackRock buying the Panama Canal? That is not bullshit. All right? It's not bullshit. I know it's real. I'm about to pull it up. Hold on. Because I feel horrible about it. This obviously... Alright, so what this reminds me of, and I've said this before, reminds me of Metal Gear Solid shit. Right? And if you don't know what that is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, have you played Metal Gear Solid, Johnny? For anyone who's watching, I'm going to explain it anyway. Metal Gear Solid, and the complicated, crazy story, at some point, we got corporations and companies, right, using their money, their vast power and money and whatever, to buy geopolitical shit and also do geopolitical stuff, and also at some point arm themselves with a military force, right? Armed forces. This feels like they're on the edge of doing that kind of stuff with the armed forces stuff. However, the reason why I'm saying I haven't said it hasn't escalated to that full blown is because this is being done with the backing of the United States. Like, obviously Donald Trump had went to, or at least someone in the Trump administration went to BlackRock and negotiated with them to purchase this, right, and try to buy a stake and own the Panama Canal essentially, and use that ownership through that company to actually own the Panama Canal themselves as a country, as a government, right? So Donald Trump could hypothetically push out orders to BlackRock to, I don't know, provide access to certain countries while prohibiting access to others, and BlackRock would do that if it's that severe in terms of ownership, right? Because I haven't gotten into the nitty gritty of, how much ownership does this entail, what kind of calls and shots does BlackRock have over the entire area, right? And we need to take into consideration what's going on with the countries that are there. So I don't know if you know this about the Panama Canal, right? But the country that it's in, right, it's a small one, has a lot of embassies from multiple different nations, right? There's a lot of military armies or bases there from multiple different nations, even ones that happen to be rivals of each other, right? And if they're not in that country, then the countries nearby, they're at least all over the coasts, right, that lead into the Panama Canal. It's pretty fucking crazy. So it would be pretty, what's the word for it? It would be pretty intense, right, if Donald Trump starts giving out commands that, like, severely alter the operations that are happening in the Panama Canal, especially since, considering, all that military might is there, as well as we got to worry about, like, the people who live there, the nation that is there. Just a lot going on, right? This is a worldwide thing. This is super international when it comes. Everybody and their mother goes to the Panama Canal all the fucking time. So, yeah, that's not. You heard right. You heard right, and it doesn't feel good. Just like with everything else that keeps happening, like the tariff shit, which is what I'm about to get into, right? Trump is going up, down. I don't know if you remember his little talk about helicopters, right? When the plane crash happened in DC, but when he said the helicopters go up, down, left, right, well, apparently tariffs go up, down, left, right, on, off, spin around, turned upside down, inside out. I don't know where the fuck we're going anymore with this kind of shit. So, let me give you a timeline. Very easy one to paint out. Tariffs come out. 25% tariffs, Mexico, China, or Canada. 24 hours later, he's delaying those same tariffs, right? Reducing them, delaying them. Automobile industry got a whole month, right? Kind of taking a step back. Then he comes out with some more tariffs. He's threatening them again today, threatening them even more. But he's taking a step further. Right? We got 120% tariffs on milk that has been threatened. Well, some crazy shit. And out of nowhere, out of the blue, some threatened sanctions against Russia. Wow. Kind of crazy shit. Out of nowhere. And honestly, let's be real. He's just doing this. He's just saying, he's pointing his gun at Russia. He's fake pointing it, you know, just to get the heat off his back to say he never criticizes Putin and that he's just a Putin asset. All right, he's just gonna be able to do this. I bet you called up Putin. He's like, "Hey, is it all right if I do this?" Just to make it seem like people don't give, you know, that just the people that don't think I actually like am in love with you, like I actually am in real life. And he's just like, "Yeah, of course. Just make sure you know you sit in the cock chair when I tell you to." And that's exactly what's going on. So we don't know. Maybe he actually is being honest. But that's the curse of having Donald Trump as president. We never know what the hell he's thinking. We got no idea what the hell might be next. Even when he tells us, we got no clue what might be going on. And it's crazy because I pulled up these articles, right? The first couple of them talk about how he's changing courses and delaying some of the tariffs. And I thought this might be a little bit of good news. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, finally we the messaging kind of got across somehow, and he started to realize maybe not even the messaging, maybe some of these corporations have finally just got enough, you know, on his nerves, and he caved in to pull back a little bit. But something changed in his opinion overnight. His reasoning for pulling back on the tariffs, though, is that he wants to give, the industry some time to catch up with the hardships that they're admitting is going to happen. Just don't understand why you would want the hardships to still happen. You have complete control over it. Right? You see, this false promise that it's going to be way better in the end is bullshit. It's bullshit. We've seen people try to do this before. He's done it before in his first administration. He tested the waters. It did not go out well. He had way too much resistance. He definitely got rid of all that resistance now, but doesn't mean that'll change the end outcome, right? I was going to show you guys this video. It was a news clip from CBC.
North American automakers
about how the automakers, the big three, got on the phone with Donald Trump and asked for a delay. But I guess, you know, he might just fucking not do that anymore either. But I'll still play this because I guess it still counts, right? And it is important. This is very important, right? This is probably, arguably, one of the biggest imports, exports that would be affected by tariffs beyond like produce, right? Because of how often parts go beyond the border, like over one way and coming back. How many times, you know, they'll be charged on taxes just for that. And how they're going to have to go through hell and high water to ban this. The end result, guys, let's be real. I gotta be honest with you. If Trump gets his way and, you know, tariffs here or there, forces the entire country to just rely on itself for everything and going to producing everything itself, right? And just going to our own country. If that happens, the way the workforce is going to look here will be way more different, and it will be more reflective of the sweatshops that we saw overseas, right? All of us are going to have to be forced into jobs where we're just making shit, little random gadgets, gizmos, fucking doorknobs, fucking nails in assembly lines. Like, we're going to be doing pretty intense hardcore labor a lot of times, and we're not going to be paid a lot for it. We're gonna definitely be skimped out. We're gonna definitely struggle. It's not going to be fucking fun. Only a handful of people are going to be able to avoid that. And you could be sure as shit I'm not one of those fucking people. And I know most of us aren't either, right? I'm pretty sure only 1% of the motherfucking country is capable of avoiding something like that, right? Maybe a little bit more. I would say 10% because there's a lot of filthy rich motherfuckers right now that would definitely like sell us out for nothing. It's really disgusting. As a matter of fact, I just remembered, I'm glad this popped up into my head. So there was a video I saw not too long ago that was from CNN. It's a short one too. Where this lady goes to Iowa, I think, after, of all things, some pig farm, was a hog competition. That's what it is, a hog competition, and asked some people about their opinions about Musk and Trump and how they feel so far. It's this is pretty interesting. Oh, there's a bigger one too. I want to see if I want to see both of these things now. All right, let me pull this up.
You know somebody smarter?
Than Elon Musk?
That's right.
You can be smart and immoral. You can be smart and make bad decisions.
You are 100% right about that. There's no
I don't know
doubt.
why that was like. Why is that so hard for people to understand? It's so frustrating growing up to realize that the majority of people I grew up with, or the majority of people that also were like already adults before I had even reached the age of adulthood, right? Just don't understand something that simple, that you could be rich, you could be smart, you could be powerful and still immoral. Like, that's not that hard to understand. This shit is crazy. It really is crazy.
It does not give me pause. I'm 100% Team Musk.
Josh Evan Kirkland is one of the people we spoke to at a hog show in Nahunta, Georgia. We first came to Brantley County right before the election because it was the most pro-Trump county in a swing state in 2020. People had had a strong emotional connection to President Trump, and they thought Trump was for them instead of the elites. So we wanted to see what they made of billionaire Elon Musk.
There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts about Musk, and he's a brilliant man himself. I think a lot of people are scared that the two of them have teamed up.
Last time we were here, Kathy
Gets me
Hendricks sold
so
Trump
mad.
merch in a corner of her boutique.
I sold out of everything. I sold out of all my Trump stuff. I have sold the Daddy's Home.
This right here, right? I kind of understand why, like, a female Trump supporter might wear this, right? Especially if they're like full-blown, absolutely Trump crazy. But like, a man wearing this?
People like that, calling Trump daddy.
There is a security in Daddy.
Listen to this.
Mama is the one that runs everything. Mama's the one that does everything, but there is a security in Daddy. When Daddy wraps his arms around you, you feel like the whole world is just, you're safe, and everything's going to be okay. And
So of course, you hear that, sounds crazy, right? Listen to her revelation and watch the lights turn on in her brain when she tells her what we're all thinking here.
That's the way they mean it?
and that's the way they mean it.
Because, on the internet at least, sometimes it has like a sexual meaning.
Oh, Lord.
So,
Oh Lord, it's like how did you not know? How did you not know? You didn't really notice that? And if she sold out on this, if she sold out on these fucking shirts, there's gotta be a few guys in there who bought into that. And it's not bashing. If that's what you're into, that's fine. I guess that's fine, However, I'm 100% positive the MAGA people aren't very supportive of homosexuality.
what do you think of the job he's done?
It's ironic.
It's like Christmas morning every single day.
Hendricks introduced us to Candace Taylor,
It's clearly
who declared
cult
she's running for
mentality.
Congress that very day
Obviously.
on Steve Bannon's War Room podcast.
I wanted to announce
It's cult mentality. I want you to think. Did you see anyone wearing stuff like that with Biden or Harris? Like, have you seen anyone wearing shit like that for any Democrat ever? Really? In our lifetimes? Because I will be hard pressed to believe that they have seen that shit.
You are loyal to President Trump. God anoints people. He's anointed President Trump. So if Elon Musk wants to cut trillions of dollars out of this budget, and if my family has to tighten our belt and not go on vacation because of it, I'm down with that.
That was disgusting. Let's be real. All right. She's clearly disconnected from the general public, I guess. Or she's very ignorant. It's one of the two. I would like it to be that she's just ignorant and doesn't know better and she's just naive. But it's hard to feel that when she's so blatantly not giving a fuck about anyone else but her. And clearly has no comprehension of just how bad this whole thing is. Like, she's, in her mind, she thinks all she has to do is not go on vacation once, and that she'll be able to weather the storm. As if whole companies and businesses are just fearing that they're going to be on the verge of collapse after this whole shitstorm of the tariffs and economic downturn, all this crazy stuff that Trump is threatening to bring on. She thinks all she's got to do is stop buying some ice cream for a few months and stop spending out on fucking delivery and food and stuff, and she'll be fine. I guess she'll be fine if she has a fuck ton of money, which, judging by what's going on here, and I'm pretty sure she owns this fucking business that they're standing in, I think she'll be fine. Unless she's just not rich enough, or she's got some corruption shit going on with her business. Who knows? Who knows? But most of us are going to get fucked. Let's be real. Most of us are going to get fucked. Most of us are going to be spending way more on shit. It's not going to be just a matter of, oh, we just got to not go to the beach a couple times this summer. Oh, we just got to not fucking splurge one day at the club. It's not a matter of that. It's not a matter of that. It's so much more poisonous in terms of like how it's going to affect this country, and it's going to be insidious. It's going to happen over time, but with the way that Trump has been acting and the admin's been acting, it's probably going to happen a lot faster than it should have, or that would have.
So you welcome some personal financial hardship if you think in the long run.
Please make me more broke.
Yeah, I've already experienced it.
Under Biden,
like
with inflation, I mean, were you happy to pay the
altar
higher prices, or did you think that was a failing of his presidency?
It was a tremendous failing.
All right, how long are you willing to wait?
What was that last question?
Inflation, I mean, were you happy to pay the higher prices, or did you think that was a failing of his presidency?
It was a tremendous failing.
All right, how long are you willing to wait?
So, I want to reiterate for everybody. Inflation was lower than it was with Trump, especially at the end of Trump's administration, right? Shit skyrocketed. And when we're talking about inflation, we're talking about the inflation rate, right? So the inflation rate was down to where it was before Trump had taken office, right? Which was one of the lowest points it ever was. So skyrocketed, prices go up, but you gotta keep in mind that when the prices go up, it's really hard to get them to go back fucking down. It's not a matter of just lowering the inflation rate, because just lowering the inflation rate does not bring the prices down with it. It just brings down the rate in which the prices go up. The prices will always go up, right? They go up slowly, and when it's a good economy, and they go up really rapidly when shit's hitting the fan, right? So to be able to bring them back, you got to have a lot of good economic shit going on. Which Trump is ineffective when it comes to leading. He's ineffective when it comes to planning. He doesn't have any fucking clue what tariff means. So God knows, there's no way he's going to be able to figure out how to bring this country back to, post-Trump prices. Which is crazy even to say. It has to be, it was not post, it was a pre-Trump prices. Yes, that's what it was, pre-Trump prices. Got my post and pre mixed up. But she's willing to take the sacrifice for the fucking God, right? Sacrifice at the altar for the cult.
Oh, I'm good if President Trump wants to run in 2028.
In 2022, Taylor ran in the Republican primary for governor with a Jesus Guns Baby
she
slogan.
definitely is not going to feel the effects of the economic downturn that's about to hit this country. She definitely is not. She's out here grifting like crazy. She got a whole fucking bus with her face on it that says Jesus, Guns, and Babies.
And lost.
But why run for Congress if some billionaire can just undo whatever budget you passed, whatever laws you passed?
Oh, he's not undoing everything. He's dealing with stuff that's frivolous.
Most people we spoke to were enthusiastic about Musk. We did meet 3 people who had some concerns about the firing of federal workers, but the only one who wanted to say so on camera was Corbett Wilson, one of the rare Trump skeptics we found last time we visited.
Prices of groceries, egg prices.
Workers thing, I feel like the firing of so many federal employees, I really do believe that that's might be where a lot of like change will happen in terms of the average Trump voter, especially when a lot of them get affected and more of them start to get affected, right? Because you have all types of people in the federal government. You know, some of them work and they believe in like left-wing policies. Some of them don't work. They believe in right-wing policies. Some of them don't even fucking vote, right? They don't even give a fuck. But there's bound to be people that work there that support you. And when you're firing upwards to 250,000 fucking people in less than a month, you're bound to hit some of your own voters. And that should be something that's really easy to notice or expect, and not even that would be able to get past his thick fucking skull, or the admin's thick skulls, right? So now they gotta deal with the awkward situation of telling their party to not have any more town hall meetings, because if they do, they're gonna have to run out early, and they're just gonna be swamped with questions that they can't fucking answer. And they're going to be swamped with opposition from their own party because they're too cowardly to face the facts, to face the fire, to face the consequences of their motherfucking actions. That's what they need to do. They need to grow some balls and have these town hall meetings, answer these fucking questions from their own voters. They're important questions, the same questions that we've been asking this entire fucking time. But you know, it sucks. I always say it sucks that we have to wait until after shit hits the fan for people to do anything about it and to realize where we went wrong.
Haven't gone down since Trump took office.
Give him a little bit of time. Will you come back in a year or 2 years? Let's look at the halfway point.
A year? Bro, this motherfucker said for 4 years that he would do it on day 1. And you want me to not hold them accountable for that shit when you were out here holding the Democrats accountable to every little tiny fucking scrutiny and detail, even the ones that didn't even fucking matter? Like, the whole thing with Kamala's vice president, right? He fucks up remembering a date of one of his travels and y'all hammer him forever. You accuse him of fucking lying the entire country about everything. You accuse him of stolen valor. He wasn't even off by that much. Holy shit, next. That's whoever is in the office. Oh my god. Wait, what do you mean with who doesn't like listen to their constituents? Oh yeah. Whenever we have a lot of politicians at this point who are willing to just do shit and not listen to anyone who's criticizing them. However, the ones that we do have on the right, I mean on the left, and I'm starting to realize this, especially after calling a bunch of them. If you look into their like background or the types of investments that they have, their types of corporate interests that they're tied up in, they're actually Republicans. Like, they're just in the closet fucking Republicans. It's disgusting. Most of their connections, most of the people that they even, like, speak to and do dealings with are actually Republicans. On every single vote that the Republicans have been pushing out, they've been voting yes with. Like, they've just infiltrated the party because people weren't paying attention. And it's disgusting. Like, we've already had before this shit times where politician on both sides, especially on the left, will come up, they make some promises, they don't fill out those promises. Usually because those promises were like a lot higher than they actually could attain or whatever. However, I will say that at some point in their careers, most of the time they would cave in and listen to their constituents at some point and pass something related to what has been asked of the people so they can maintain their job and keep getting votes for their position, right? Here we don't have that happening at all. Not even fucking close. It's like they just completely abandoned. And honestly, we should force the government to make a new law or something that if we feel the people, or at least if the party that they're in feels that they are not acting along with the party, that they're actually taking the complete opposite side of every single issue that they're supposed to be representing, they should have like a new election. They should have like an emergency vote to see if they should even still hold that office and let the people vote for someone fucking new to replace them, because that's actually fucking nuts. Or use a person who came in second and running with that kind of shit, you know, because what the fuck? This feels like a loophole. It honestly feels like a loophole that the MAGA had figured out. And this is important because when it comes to like votes on the floor, right? Like when it comes to whether or not they should censor Al Green, we got votes that could have saved our asses going over to them. And the what sucks about this is that we're only outnumbered by a very slim margin. Like, it's only by a handful of votes. And it's just enough votes almost every time from the same traitors that ends up causing shit to slide. It's so fucking annoying. So annoying. And so... No, it's more than annoying. It's actually, that's not even a word for it. Annoying is not the word for it. It's way worse than annoying. It's disgusting. It's a crisis, I guess. It's I don't know. Someone throw me a word that will describe that shit enough. This is just more of the same. Also, along with the sanctions, totally forgot about this with Russia. Told you that Russia was getting some sanctions. Trump also threatened Iran with some sanctions, right? But confusingly enough, as with all his actions, he decided that he wants to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. Why? Why? Well, what? You want to give them nukes? Why do you want to arm our enemies? What the fuck is going on? It's not confusion, guys. Sorry, I had a little burp that came up. It's not confusion, right? It's not that I don't think it's that he's stupid. I think he's just bought out. He's been bought and paid for by foreign interests. That's basically it. And not even with money. With feel-good feelings and emotions and telling him he's the best and he's so great and we're going to do whatever you want as long as you let us do whatever we want, right? They're the only ones that are giving him sweet nothings, while all of our allies, the ones that are oppressing him hard and giving him negative feedback because this dude is a fucking child. He has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He just wants everyone to agree with him. He just wants everyone to be in the room and say, yes, yes, thank you. Every word you say is beautiful and amazing, and I love it. But that's not how life works, right? These countries are not going to fucking allow the safety of their own people and just the lives of millions and millions and millions of fucking Europeans and everything like that. Just become endangered because of his ignorance. Like, they can't just do that. So they're gonna move on, and the rest of the world is doing that right now. They're in the process of trying to cut the U.S. out of them, like the cancer that we've become. Right? We've spent a long time trying to acquire some power, geopolitically speaking, amongst European nations and unifying them and allowing ourselves to get really good fucking deals, trade deals that enrich this country and make this country one of the best places to live in. Well, it used to be one of the best places to live in, right? We spent a long time trying to get this done. People have fought and died literally time and time and time again to get most of the stuff that we've taken for granted to happen in this country, right? He's selling all of that out just to people that tell him that he's a great leader because he likes the way they sound, the words sound. And he knows that those people are more powerful than him and that they have much more commanding respect than him. He wants to be like them so fucking bad. And it'll be at the price of all of our lives. Right? That's not me exaggerating. This is whole hard facts. Right? I'm saying this because I'm nervous. I'm saying this because every time I get a news notification with this motherfucker's face on it, I feel like my eyeballs are about to fall out their sockets. Because I can't believe what I'm reading time and time and time again. Right? And it's only a matter of time. I'm giving this country like a month or two at most before we really start to feel the most severe negative consequences of these actions. Right? There's only one tidbit of copium I can give for anybody here if you're looking for some bits and scraps. Democrat-led states join legal fight. There's a big push, legally speaking. I read that over half of the entire nation's attorney general have filed lawsuits and are fighting against Trump, Doge, and their mass firings of federal workers. Right? It's a lot of fucking attorney generals. Will this make anything happen? Probably not. Let's be real. Even if it does happen, that's not gonna matter anymore. We have crossed the Rubicon, guys. There ain't no going back at this point. I do want to say, though, I'm glad this finally was posted onto YouTube. I spoke about this movie before. I know I said I was going to watch on stream, but I can't because of legal reasons, copyright stuff. The movie Dear Kelly by All Gas No Brakes Andrew Callahan, right? Incredible movie that gives a really good insight and look into the microcosm of Trump's MAGA America, right? To put yourself in the shoes of someone who has a family member who's been completely bought into the cult, right? And not just any family member, but the one that birthed you, right? Your own living father, right? Or not birthed you, I guess, but who helped create you, right? I don't know, your mom birthed you. You want to be more specific. And looking at how this man fell down the rabbit hole, as one would say, right? What was the breadcrumbs that led him to go down this crazy, fucked, brain-rotted path into hardcore believing in MAGA? Now, we're all human. We all got our faults, right? All of us. Let's not pretend that we're all, any of us are perfect. And when you look at this man that he covers in this film, is Kelly J. Patriot, or Kelly John, you can see, especially in his early life, that he was a relatively normal person, He was questionable in his actions, you could say. He's made a lot of stupid fucking mistakes, and probably wasn't the most morally good person in the world, because I think he bet some money, right? He definitely put his family at risk. He forced them into a position of having to leave him because of all the fuck shit that he was doing. They got themselves into, right? At first it was like white collar fraud and stuff like that, but quickly delved into some bad shit that led to some legal situations and ultimately led to them all being evicted from his house, right? It was a nice house too, one that he spent a long time building and taking care of. He lost it all. His wife, his kids, and his home. This guy was destitute. He had nothing left. And along comes like the risen Christ, right? Donald J. Trump, the MAGA movement, the blaming of the issues in which the average American was facing, and painting an enemy, painting a target for them to focus their energy on, right? The left, the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Senator Warren, Bernie Sanders, all the motherfuckers, they cause, in his mind, with the rhetoric that was being spewed to them, in his mind, they caused his pain, his suffering, and him losing his house. And that the man who owned the company that ultimately repossessed his house was directly part of the inner circle of the Clintons and the Illuminati and all this kind of crazy shit, right? So what does he do? What does one do when you're deranged and you've bought into some crazy narrative that all the negative things that's ever happened in your life are the result of the left-wing party and your government? You go fight. You go fight. Or do what you think is fighting, which is protesting, speaking out, right? The thing that we should be doing as Democrats against MAGA, right? He was doing against the Democrats, right? Him and the rest of the party. So, what is it? Andrew Callahan, one day, he's at a Trump rally, he runs across this guy, and this dude just seems like a normal, everyday, average Trump supporter until he starts talking about how that CEO I told you about stole his house, and that it was part of a grander conspiracy from the left, right? Andrew decided to follow him. And try to decide to follow him down the rabbit hole and see who he was and how he ended up here. And this piece of work, I encourage everyone to watch it, right? It's very, very insightful because it's like, for the first time, you could very easily peer through like a looking glass and see into the mind and pathways of how one ends up like this. And you could bring yourself to even feel sympathetic and empathetic to these people. Because, unfortunately, whether or not you feel bad for what happened to them and the decisions because of it, right, they are victims. They're victims of a cult. They're victims of the propaganda. They're victims of the brain rot, right? They probably would not be like this if it wasn't for MAGA. However, they fell for it. They were gullible. They were almost like someone who has genetic dispositions to certain diseases. They were genetically disposed to catching the MAGA virus, right? So, in following, because this is very important before we watch this, right? Because we're about to watch the intervention that the family has with their father after, you know, he's gone off the rails and they can't take it no longer, right? Kelly and Andrew had developed a really good friendship and bonding in their journey, and him, like, you know, finding out about his life. Andrew actually went above and beyond in trying to help the family kind of reconcile and, you know, kind of just help Kelly, in a sense, break out of this whole bubble and this whole delusion, right? Tried his damn best, dude. He really pulled out all the cards that he can for what one person can do. And he earned the respect of the entire family, as well as a permission to do all this, as well as the respect of Kelly, who he says and claims that Andrew helped his life significantly, which, after watching this, you know, maybe, just maybe, might change your opinion slightly on what's going on. But, however, I will say, it will be a very weak feeling, because not very much long after the intervention, I'm talking about like a week or two later, he was back at a fucking, was it Ben Shapiro? No, it was Charlie Kirk. It was Charlie Kirk Turning Point rally for the right, MAGA shit. He was like wearing the fucking suit tie and the clown costume, hardcore supporting Trump again and the propaganda machine, all that kind of stuff. It was almost like he kind of doubled down on it, and he was clearly willing to abandon his entire family, which just goes to show how devastatingly intense the grip is once it's catched a hold of you. It's like once you've bought in, you can't buy out. It's really sad. It's fucked. Let's watch this. I'm gonna do it at an increased speed.
How's everybody feeling?
Optimistic, I'd say.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about like what we're about to do. So our whole goal today is to like, you know, just say that we love them and stuff, and like, you know, explain like what's been going on. But
what made you guys feel like now is the time for an intervention?
Seeing that, like, you know, we're approaching another election year that's probably going to be one of the most tense election years in history, you know, just getting Kelly on the right path before something like that starts seems like the right idea.
And I'm really glad that I reached out to you and that we're here today, because this is like the best possible scenario that I think we could ever be in.
For sure. Thankfully, I was able to enlist the help of a professional interventionist named Heather Hayes, who agreed to take the case on pro bono.
Hey, thanks so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Absolutely. So I'm Heather Hayes. I'm a family.
I watch this shit because this intervention comes like a little bit at the end of the movie, but it really breaks your heart when you see this, because especially when I thought that it was finally the moment that might be significant enough to make a difference in this guy's life. I mean, or at least change him. But we'll see.
Consultant. I work out of Atlanta, but I work nationally and internationally all over, helping families come together and put together plans for healing.
How many times do you think you've done this before?
Oh, I've done probably 3,000.
Needless to say, I felt like we were in good hands.
For today, I think what's most important is that the family be able to talk about their feelings, where they're at, and what their wishes and desires are for hope and healing. So anyway, so I'm really honored to be here. And my goal for today is that we just have a loving, respectful talk. I'm gonna get some ground rules. We are not talking about politics, but what we are gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about relationships and how you all can feel more connected. Is what's important is that even though we're all different, which makes us unique and individual, is that we learn how to connect in ways, feel closer to each other. They love you. There's so much love for you in this room.
Those are clips from his life.
You know, they miss you, and they need both of you. I mean, they need their parents. It's different connecting with our kids, when they're teens. Then they become adults, and there's this shift that happens where now we have an adult child, you know, to parent relationship, and it can be really actually just incredible as it is seeing them from tiny grow up and go through all those stages. Having adult children can really be magnificent too, as they go through all of their milestones and, you know, they, you know, graduate, start careers, start families, whatever it is they want to do, and they need both of you. I mean, they need their parents. What I also want is for everyone to be honest and open and loving. So I always ask people, like, think about, like, here's your opportunity. What do you want to say? What's going well? What are your concerns? Like, what's your ask from this meeting? So I always have people take a little time and write it down. So what I'd like to do, just to kind of get started, is like go around and let everybody kind of read, you know, read from their heart, talk to you from their heart about where they're at, what their goals are for today. Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
So, dear Dad, back then, you were my daddy who would do anything to protect his little girl. Smart.
It's okay.
After getting evicted, I didn't feel like we just lost the house. I felt like I lost my daddy too. Bad things happen in life that are out of your control. it's inevitable. What matters is how you respond to these things. And when our family broke apart, you left it to Mom to get us back together. I don't exactly blame you for that, but I blame you for your lack of involvement and responsibility. Having an absent father for the last 7 years has affected me in so many ways.
I know that
I've
has
gone
to
through
hurt.
so much that you
That's
don't even
gotta
know
hurt.
about. I've been battling with an eating disorder for the last
Like being a father and having to hear that from your daughter. Like, if you care at all about your family, it's gotta hurt. But what sucks is that he doesn't understand why she's saying these things, feels this way.
3 years.
And that's where
And when I was at my
disconnect
lowest,
happens. He's under the he's under the belief that she's just been convinced by propaganda, that she's just a
couldn't see a
victim
way
of
out.
her beliefs.
and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. If I can get help and try to change, you can too. I'd like to think that I have a good understanding of why you are the way you are, and I'm not here to judge you for it. None of us are. I just want you to confront the things that are holding you back from living life to the fullest. I'm writing this letter to remind you of how much I love you and that you'll always be my dad no matter what. I'm also writing it to make you aware of how your actions have affected me as a person. Most importantly, though, everything we want today is just an investment in your future, our future as a family. That's all.
Thank you, Sid.
Love you, God.
That was
Love you, Sid.
Dad,
it's so
Pops,
frustrating.
I have so many great memories of us. You have taught me how to do things, always do the right thing, even if it's not easy. I am proud to be your one and only son. However, at the cost of not having you present, all I could ever want from you is something money could never buy.
What this movie shows is the devastating impact that MAGA has on families across America. Like, it really has devastating impacts. Like, if the entire family buys into it, all the kids are into it or whatever, and they are not, like, living or feeling like they're a part of a lifestyle that is directly against the whole ideology, I guess, whatever. But there's so many families who don't fall within that, like the entire family doesn't fall within that, but only one of them fell for it. Only one of them bought into it. Only one of them likes that shit. Hey, what's going on, Alice Stark? How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I'm just watching an intervention for a Trump supporter who really fucked up his family's life by, you know, getting the, well, not getting that, yeah, I guess it was before he became a Trump supporter, but the house got taken away from them. They were, you know, basically broke destitute and had to rebuild everything from scratch. And in response, he became a Trump supporter and went down a path of further self-destruction and alienation from his family. And his family and the creator of this film really tried to help this man see the light, you know, kind of just come back to solid ground in terms of thinking and try to be there for his family. So here's their attempts.
I want you to be my dad again. I want us to rebuild what we have and take a step in the right direction. All of this is still possible, and it's not too late to start or do the right thing. I love you, Dad, and will always. However, we need to come together and make the right choices to get you to a healthy place where the dynamic of our family can be restored. That'll be a hard road ahead of us. However, I firmly believe with the utmost confidence we can accomplish this task and have you be a great father again. I love you, Dad, and I want nothing more than you being here for me and the family again. I love you.
So sad.
Dad, I don't know who my father is anymore.
It's so sad,
I'm scared of the man I see. I know you love me, but I don't feel loved by you. You love
It's
talking.
so sad to think, like, they go through all this. They went through this for years. The daughter, she's gay, right? And completely diametrically opposed to the whole ideology and whatnot. She's tried time and time again to get across that. And when you are around someone that has these like ideas or opinions or beliefs, very often they'll throw out little like blurts or sayings or whatnot that try to like poke at you, that might try to get under your skin, whether they know it or not. They might have heard it from somewhere else, but you could tell it's on their mind what separates you and them politically and ideologically speaking, and that they're disappointed that their friend, that their son, their daughter, whoever it is, has fallen in their mind for this whole thing. So, you know, if you have that over years coming from your parents, that's going to do a lot of fucking damage to you mentally. You know, it's going to really fuck you up. And it's definitely going to drive a wedge between the entire family, just generally speaking. It's really sad.
About the idea of me, or you see like graduate.
Also, Alice, I know you don't know this. After this intervention, the guy that they're having an intervention for, he said that he's gonna give this up, he's gonna change, he's gonna go get help, all this and that. He ends up 2 weeks later going to a Charlie Kirk Turning Point rally event, just a big MAGA event where he's just back at it again. But he's doubled down and he's accepted that he might never really talk to his daughter again, but apparently fighting for the country and fighting for this is more important.
That you're so proud of, but I don't actually feel that love. I feel like a prop more.
And thinks that at the end of the road, after all this is said and done, that she's going to still be there, willing to accept her father.
For that one time you told me I was going to hell for being gay, and the same phone call that you called and asked me for money, that happened.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
For that one time you told me, but I don't actually feel that love. I feel like a prop more. Bonus points for that one time you told me I was going to hell for being gay, and the same phone call that you called and asked me for money, that happened. If I have kids, Dad, not
So
that that happens
imagine
anytime
that.
soon.
Imagine that, but for years.
Like, you wouldn't be fit to see them.
From your father.
It is so difficult to be mourning you while you're still alive. We haven't been a family, and it's not because we don't have a house, but because
that was probably the most moving thing. He's dead. His old self is dead. Like, he's not himself no more. He's something new. And this new thing is not a part of that family. Like, ideologically speaking, just fucking, your blood is being betrayed by your ideology. And it's not even, like, I laugh to not cry, you know? It's really sad.
it's me, Kyle, and Cindy don't have a father. But most importantly, I don't know how many times I need to say this, I want you to come back to your family. I need my dad's love and support. If you can't do this for your family and everyone who loves you in the world, then I will be the saddest girl in the world.
I'm next up. You're next up. So he's the
Dear Kelly,
filmmaker.
when I first met you 2.5 years ago, on April 11th, 2021, you were carrying 4 flags at one time, surrounded by a swarm of Antifa super soldiers with blood leaking from your head. I always figured you wondered why I followed up after that first meeting. And it was because of your lethal fixation on Bill Joyner.
Bill Joyner!
Bill Joyner. Look after Bill. Bill Joyner was the CEO he claims stole his house that has connections to, was it the Clintons and the Democrats, right?
Joyner. So I figured that through investigating with what happened with Bill Joyner, I could get to the bottom of what happened to you psychologically, and hopefully reveal some universal truths about the pipeline between deep personal loss and radical politics. And through learning about your storied past, I was able to sort of understand the extreme pain that you went through after the eviction. I mean, as a father, you have a fundamental obligation to take care of your family. That's like the core, almost primitive responsibility. And I can only imagine the pain and anguish that resulted from after that situation.
I will say, the psychologist asked to keep politics out of this, but it was like, how the fuck are you supposed to keep it out of politics? Like, how the fuck are you supposed to? The whole reason you're there is because he's like dived into this like fucking distorted political thing. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to fucking ignore that shit? I hope everyone, I want to reiterate and just say this. I hope everyone here is doing fine tonight and doing well. All right. I know shit's going crazy out there, but let's try to keep our heads up and keep on keeping on and do what we need to fight. You know, so we need to fight when we can. If you love this country, at least.
Being suddenly unable to provide for your family and exiled from your core social group is enough to drive anybody insane.
And when I was going through a really hard time in my personal life, you were, one of the first people to reach out to me.
Here's what you said.
Andrew, this is Kelly. Hey, how you doing? Just want to touch base, so hope you're doing well. Hang in there.
It's never over till it's over.
and you are not done yet.
So keep your chin up.
So this
and-
actually, I did not know this until someone, a chatter, came in and enlightened me about what had happened. But Andrew Callahan himself had found himself into some serious situation. I'm talking about like, accusations being flown against him for sexual assault. However, when you look into it, it was really shaky because what happened was the person who had supposedly received the sexual assault, her friend was the one making the accusations, right? And the person who supposedly received the sexual assault just was a whole awkward exchange. Like, it was just an embarrassing thing where she just kind of didn't really want anything from him, and he was a little drunk. Yeah, he didn't touch her or do anything crazy. He just, like, I guess tried to flirt with her and made her feel uncomfortable. And she just, like, responded with that flirting. And I think they kissed or whatever. I think. I have no idea. But it wasn't anything serious. The media made it much more serious. And when I say media, I'm talking about, like, the vulture hate groups that exist online. That especially the ones that are anti, like, anyone who's not for Trump or anti, like, left people and shit. They went really hard on it. They tried to expand it to, like, how they do with every single person. They expanded to saying that hundreds of women came out at once, and they all said that he's, like, a child predator and all that kind of stuff with, like, baseless accusations. It's not even, there's, like, nothing in the news that even says anything like that. It's just fucking frustrating. But he went through this whole thing. It really impeded on his work as what he does, right? And held him up. So when he was going through that, his Kelly, the guy who's having the intervention for, called out, reached out to him, and, you know, just checked up on him and made contact with him. Was, like, friendly with him and all that kind of shit. So that's what he's referencing.
You're gonna make it.
And as I've said for a long time, I will always be there for you, Andrew.
And once again, it's not what happens, because something happens to everybody. You get knocked down at some point in time, but people remember how you respond to adversity. You give up and you go away, then you weren't anything. If you are something, then you continue to stand up and you move on and you stay strong. And I see that as being you.
P.S. I'm not preaching, and I'm a flawed human being, but I'm trying hard.
He said that.
Love you, man. Hang in there, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. We're going to make it. Adios.
So these guys, like, you could see, even after their conversion, there's still remnants of their persona, of their, like, normal being, of who they are, like, deep down inside, I guess. You know, they care, they have a capacity of caring and empathy and stuff like that. It's just that it's been so distorted and has been so manipulated and fucking used against themselves in order to get them to be something they would not normally be, right? And it's just sad because when you see the like, it's also frustrating and hard when it comes to getting things done and having to fight back against that, because you get riled up. You know that these people are hurting others' lives, they're getting in the way of that, and it's hard not to feel passionate and want to spew out some type of anger or hate towards these people, right? It's really hard to feel empathy in that moment, and I'm not even saying that you should, right? Because sometimes they need to get the consequences of their actions in order to understand what the fuck is going on and why it wasn't a good thing what they were believing. But we have to remember, still, at the end of the day, they were victims of something much worse. That they're not the source of the evil, they're just a symptom of it, right? I'm going to end this a little early, this video, because it's a lot of the same. And again, we all know the end conclusion. He just goes back to the way it is, and I guess completely decides to sever his relationship with his family after that. Really, really sad shit. Maybe there'll be a part 2. I don't know. I recommend you guys check out this movie though. It's called Dear Kelly. You can find it online if you Google search it, or go to dearkellyfilm.com. It's only $5 to rent it, watch it. If you feel like, you know, checking something like that out. Anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all stopping. It's getting late. I gotta hang out with my girlfriend. I'm tired. I gotta go up early tomorrow.